following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified as PG-14+. It is intended for children ages 14 and older in the company of an adult. It may contain intensely suggestive dialogue, strong coarse language, intense sexual situations, or intense violence or political ideology. A parental control system is strictly advised.
Now was Marvel playing us the whole time with Thunderbolts plus the asterisks? No, seems so. As this movie opens up the world for Phase 6, and more importantly, this gives us the clues about the upcoming Secret Wars.
Hot and choppy waters, the long-awaited trial of P. Diddy begins, and legal experts say that not guilty remains the most unlikely verdict in this sex crime case. We'll tell you more on the other side on Showbiz Tonight.
And of course, the box office wars. Thunderbolts are on top, or did someone else steal that thunder? So lights, camera, and roll the theme as we begin this exciting edition of Showbiz Tonight.
Live to tape from Studio 24. This is Showbiz Tonight Special. Now, here are your hosts, Vinuth Warnasooriya, Aquil Kuraishy, Sanuvi Mudannayake, and Mahieash Johnney.
What?
Hello. What? It is Showbiz Tonight after a little bit of a hiatus. Welcome everyone to the show. Where we took, I think, 2 weeks off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We had to give a 1 week for the funeral of His Holiness Pope Francis, and then elections happened. So then there was so much that we had to sort out. And after that, here we are 2 weeks later, back on air. Vinuth, Sanuvi, and also Aquil is here. But Aquil was not here for a longer period of time.
Yeah, I think in this new fresh setup, it's the first time Aquil is joining us.
Exactly. And he's not Aquil, right? He's now Dr. Aquil.
That's why he was missing for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, like, doctor of what? Foot and mouth disease? What exactly are you doctor about?
Media and cultural innovation, mate. Okay.
Cultural
Innovation, yeah.
But anyway, just find out from him personally as to which university he went to in order to get that doctorate, so it'll be easy for you to get it as well. It ain't hard.
Oh no.
Jokes aside, congratulations, Aquil, on becoming, with your achievement on becoming a doctor of
Media and cultural innovation.
Media and culture. Exactly.
That.
So not foot and mouth disease.
No.
Like I told you this. It was not foot and mouth disease.
But I'm curious what this cultural innovation thing is.
Look, it requires a dissertation and so forth. You would like break it down.
It is a valid.
Yeah. But on the good news though, Sanuvi's on the heads to go and get her PhD very soon as well.
She just
in
started.
finance.
Just started.
There you go.
She's skipping the doctor and going to professor directly.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Professor Sun.
I mean, Aquil became a doctor. I need to step it up too.
Yeah. A bunch of nerds.
I mean, like, it's you and me. We are like
normal human beings.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing for us. We are just Mahieash and just doctors and professors here. Anyway, we have a lot to sort out this week with regard to the world of showbiz. What exactly? I think the P. Diddy case is one of the biggest headlines makers.
That's new discoveries every minute.
Yeah, I know. Reading about that entire case, which started last Monday. Man, that was.
It was.
We can call it traumatizing to a certain level, actually.
Yeah. More than that, it's
disgusting.
I don't know what we are reading. Are we reading a porn novel or are we actually reading news?
Okay.
Because the area of the information that they are discussing with regard to this case is so graphic.
No, plus this occurred decades ago.
Exactly.
No. It didn't occur decades ago. It happened. It happened. Started decades ago.
Anyway, guys, we can get to all that.
Yeah.
But before that, we have to start with the countdown. As always, from number 10 to number 6. So right now, let's start the show.
Alright, at number 10 this week, the Easter special. Of course, it's May. Since Easter, the world has witnessed a death of a pope, a conclave, and the election of a new pope. And we are at mid-May, yet this Charles Dickens classic, The King of Kings, continues to remain in the box office. Now, with a $66 million since its first showing, King of Kings has managed to be truly a king at the box office, becoming our number 10 movie on Showbiz Tonight.
Come, Peter. Come to me.
Peter, no! Save me.
You doubted. That's why you fell. Have faith in me and you will be.
To number 9, it's The Amateur. This movie brings back Rami Malek after a long hiatus back to the silver screen. The Amateur, based on 1981 spy thriller, tells a story of a CIA cryptographer taking matters to his own hands after a terrorist attack in London. And once the CIA refuses to take action, he goes on a rampage for justice. With a global box office of $93 million, The Amateur is our number 9th box office movie on Showbiz Tonight.
If I trigger it, the glass will shatter. So tell me where he is, or swim very fast.
You have the wrong person.
No.
What happens when a group of friends get trapped, say, in a loop? Well, that's exactly what our next movie, Looping In at number 8, is telling us. Titled Until Dawn, tells the story of a group of friends trapped in a time loop where mysterious foes chase and kill them in gruesome ways. And they must survive until dawn to escape it. Now remember, this movie is obviously derived from the 2015 video game. The movie has its plus points and makes an interesting watch. But the problem is it gets the seal of approval from the gaming fans, as many on Rotten Tomatoes has praised the movie. With a global box office of $44 million, Until Dawn is our number 8th box office movie on Showbiz Tonight.
Now, if you're a truly fan of John Hartnett like me, I mean, who can forget his awesome performance on Black Mirror in 2023? And then the psychotic movie Trap in 2024, and this time in 2025, another action comedy, Fight or Flight, which is a new entrant at number 7 this week. Now, the storyline is a bit mercenary, who takes on the job of tracking down a target on a plane, but must protect her when they're surrounded by people trying to kill both of them. Now, performance-wise, Josh gives a cool performance and has the reviews giving a thumbs up. It was released on the 9th of this month, so has some time to climb up the countdown. But this time, Flight or Fight lands at number 7th with a global box office of $2.5 million.
And what? Safety's on.
The what?
Is that the manifest?
Yeah.
Oh, good. It's ambient time. Most people be going to sleep. We'll start with the people that haven't.
Now, an estranged couple with a bounty on their heads must go on the run with their son to avoid the former employer. A unit of shadow ops that has been sent to kill them. That sounds like a weekend movie to me, right? To you even. Well, that's exactly what our new entrant movie at number 6 is titled Shadow Force, starring Kerry Washington. There's a blast from the past. I haven't heard about her since the TV series Scandal. Sanuvi, do you remember the TV series Scandal? Since then, Kerry Washington tried a lot. I think, however, she was there in the 2022 movie, the Netflix movie, The School for Good and Evil. She was one of the good bitches. Did you watch that? I did. Anyway, so let me be honest on this movie. It sucks. Like really sucks. Poor acting, horrible casting, and on top of it, the action sequence looks really fake. However, that's my opinion. You might have a different one. Landing at number 6 with a global box office of $2.2 million since its release last week. Shadow Force is a number 6 box office movie on Showbiz.
We're going to a short commercial break. We'll be right back with more Showbiz Tonight.
Welcome back, everyone, to Showbiz Tonight. Well, that was a countdown from 10 to 6.
So many
quite
new entrants.
New ones, yeah.
A lot of
I think surprising ones as well.
But it's actually nice to see the King of Kings is still hanging on in the countdown after like what?
Yeah.
It's been a long while.
It is after Easter. Like I think we said in the piece, a pope died, then there was a conclave,
a new pope
and
was
then
elected.
there was a new pope. All that happened, and still the movie King of Kings is
Persistence.
soon after Easter.
King of Kings
But actually, I watched it and it was quite interesting. I mean, it is very one of those uplifting movies, the Charles Dickens version. Of,
It's very nice how they change the optic. It's not just the story.
But the reason that why I love that movie is not because of I am a Christian, but then again it's not we've heard the story of Christ, the birth of Christ, the death of Christ, and then the resurrection, all that since we were kids. There's a cat in that movie. Did you see the cat?
I barely noticed the cat.
A plumpy little cat was there right throughout. The cat was there as a crucifixion of Christ.
Oh my God.
The cat was there right throughout the movie, and he was giving all those expressions. I think like, that's the only reason.
See, this is why we are us and Mahieash is Mahieash, because he finds the most intricate details in movies that we'll just go past.
Noticed the cat.
What do you mean he was there, like
the main
right throughout. I mean, like for me, I'm like waiting. Okay, with which frame the cat is gonna come and what kind of reaction the cat is gonna give. So it's a plumpy little chunky cat.
It doesn't matter whether it's animated or not. A cat is a cat.
So in case you don't know, he's a big fan of cats.
Yeah, of course.
You want to give him
I
something?
think everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Fair.
Anyways, so let's start discussing with regard to what's been happening in the world of showbiz. I think Dr. Aquil will start off.
Of course.
So, Doctor, what's up with the culture?
Culture reset.
I mean, we may have to pause a little bit because we can't be going from Christ, the King of Kings, to P. Diddy. Okay. That is a big no-no. So, anything interesting that you want to talk about?
Oh, okay. So this is a bit of old news, but then I wanted to bring it here to sort of discuss.
You wanted to advise this time also? I hope not.
Actually, yes.
Oh, God.
I did want advice. I like asking advice from Mahieash and y'all. So here's the thing. So the Met Gala happened. The 2025 Met Gala. It was a big event, but not as hyped as previous years, I would say. And then this year's theme was about celebrating black culture, tailor-made-esque, and such and such. But there were two things.
Piano, right?
There is a piano, yeah. So that's again black culture. He's a designer, by the way.
Okay.
So his whole thing is, okay, he played music, piano, but also part-time he was like designing clothes and stuff.
So now the thing is, we had an argument before.
Yeah, we did.
There were two main incidents that happened during this year's Met Gala. Number one was Lisa from Blackpink, her outfit.
Let me get comfortable on this chair.
Let me finish. Let me finish. And the second thing was there was a lot of Indian celebrities who attended this year. So South Asian representation, woo! Now about
Bollywood.
Lisa's outfit.
Okay, go for it.
Wait. So the outfit was designed by a person called Henry. And at first glance, the outfit might replicate Rosa Parks, but it is not Rosa Parks.
You can't say that.
Because
Have you not
the
seen
designer
Rosa Parks?
himself.
No, you can't say that. That's a way of getting away from certain
Are you saying
things.
that all black women...
That's what she herself said it in a Vogue interview herself. She's like representation of the black culture.
Black culture, but she didn't say I've got Rosa Parks down there.
Have you not seen Rosa Parks?
I have. But
clearly, that's exactly what it is.
If the designer says
Sanuvi,
it's not her...
No, you can't say that. If I say, oh, I hit someone in a bus. No, I didn't hit someone in a bus.
Now
That's
that is not apples and oranges.
No.
Come on, doctor.
I'm telling you, Sanuvi, it's Rosa Parks. Literally,
not.
on her intricate, intimate areas.
Oh my God.
Literally put in that. And that's completely wrong. And it's not right because she's from...
It's not
She's from South Korea. She's
so
not even
here's the
from...
thing.
You got to be the
thing.
professor soon, I guess.
I know. I need to get those credentials.
No, I'm actually trying to Google it right now. Look into this because I have no clue of what they are talking about.
Actually is.
Okay,
It's not.
so is let me the first
Go
thing
on
that
Google Images.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
The thing,
Is
okay?
that
I'm
really
telling you,
Rosa
Google
Parks on
Images.
Lisa's crotch?
It's not.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Is that the question you're asking?
This
Kamala
is,
Harris made a surprise entrance, right?
Okay, so
Look.
I can't show the image without zooming into.
See, you agree. You literally agree.
No,
like,
I mean-
look at it.
He did not agree. Don't put
No.
words in his
You
mouth.
can see it. It's...
I don't see Rosa Parks.
There you go.
Wait,
Where
wait.
do?
We're done.
This is the wrong image. You need to go to the right one.
I'm sorry, Doc.
go
It's
to
not in your fascinating
No. It is
angle.
not. I'm
It's
telling you.
not her.
You need to go to images.
Okay, so
Google
what's the
images.
big Rosa Parks is? Are we talking about Rosa Parks, the one who refused to stand?
The civil war was all
bus?
driven by her. She's a history. She's a
Look,
legend when it comes
she
to...
is. I didn't say she's not.
And her being on a K-pop star's,
It's not
intimate
her.
area,
That's the
stitched,
whole
it's not the
point.
right thing.
Did you notice that her entire outfit had a lot of faces on it? That was the whole
Black.
tailor.
But then this is just...
Yes.
No.
Wait. So this is... Let me finish, doctor. Now see.
God.
It was faces of people, like black culture.
That was
all
just
over.
one
Let me
face.
finish. Can you please go be a lawyer? Anurad is a lawyer. Okay. So all that, right? So the designer himself said, look, this is what I designed. What I wanted to show out of this outfit was black features, people, their faces, make it more people-friendly and close to society. Unfortunately, his neighbor is who is depicted on Lisa's crotch.
Right.
But people assume that it was Rosa Parks.
That's the most lamest
It
thing.
is
You can't say
not.
your neighbor. What is that, Sanuvi?
Because he looked
It is
at his
Rosa
neighbor
Parks. It is,
inspired and then
come on,
come
please.
on.
And that's so downgrading as well
But
to Rosa Parks
do you
and the black
really
culture.
think Lisa would do that?
100%. She's not the one
Why
who
Okay,
would she do that?
it's the designer.
Wait, okay, we'll have
I think
this.
we got the...
Oh,
dose
look.
of
Yeah, exactly.
positivity.
Look.
We got the
Which
dose of
one are you
positivity we
talking
wanted.
about?
Rosa Parks, literally.
No, I don't. I
This is
honestly
Rosa
don't.
Parks. And
See,
then
we
there's
can't help it if
and then
people
there's like a
just
whole
like to
bunch
look
of
at
other
people's
black
crotches
legends
nowadays.
on that.
We are really sorry we can't bring this image to you on
But
screen
that
because this is
was not
apparently
the point.
something,
It wasn't
okay.
the point. Okay, so
If that was not the point, what were we
there was
arguing?
another one. Okay,
You
there's
have more
another one.
points.
There's one more.
Oh,
Okay. So since all four of us have been in this business of journalism and reporting and whatnot, and Mahieash, you have a lot of experience in it. So the fact that Shah Rukh Khan attended the Met Gala and then he was interviewed, right? So there's a bit of a controversy happening here. He's very famous amongst us South Asians, right? He is. He's a global superstar as well. But then on the carpet, there was an interview where the interviewer didn't exactly know who he was.
It wasn't just one.
Not just
it was
one, the
actually
entirety
multiple.
of-
No one
That
knew
is
who Shah
such
Rukh Khan
a
was.
normal thing
It
for
is.
Hollywood. because they hardly know
That
anything
is
about.
true.
There is racism.
But once
Not
you...
racism per
It
se,
is.
it's
He's
just-
a global
it's-
superstar. They didn't even acknowledge the designer.
No, you can't say racism.
Even the fact that he's a global
because, come on,
superstar
like
depends
how?
on the person.
Okay. How many government ministers of our country do you know?
Oh no.
Out of the point.
No, I mean like
Mahesh.
out of the
point.
ones. If they walk right in here, would you say?
We're talking about actors.
No, but still, no.
An actor who's done so many movies.
What I'm telling
thousands
is
of movies.
that is not racism. That is just ignorance. Ignorance could lead to racism for sure, but just because you don't know Shah Rukh Khan. I mean, if it was in this part of the world, or in
The region
100%,
matters. The region definitely.
100% we can go and scream and shout it. But this is Hollywood, okay? This is New York. A cultural hodgepodge, okay?
That's true.
People might be everyday walking who looks like Shah Rukh Khan, and the reporter might be, okay, hang on, this might be the same guy that I saw at the Indian Delhi yesterday, or why is he here kind of thing.
Makes sense. That actually makes sense, yeah.
They say. But I don't think it's... I mean, it is a big deal because I mean, it might be a big deal if you're a massive hardcore Shah Rukh Khan fan, but
I think a lot of people saw it as disrespectful, as for the ignorance of the interviewer not knowing.
I mean, you had to look at it in the bright
ignorance,
way.
yes,
He was
of
invited, which means the cultural diversity.
No, I mean,
he wasn't invited. The designer was invited,
Decided.
Sabyasachi. So he was also disrespected at the moment because he was like, we don't know who you are as a designer. Probably
So
an assistant or something like that.
That is 100. If you're a journalist, then you should know. First, you should know the guest list. Who's coming?
Plus, even though you actually don't know the person,
this is what we have.
At the end of the day, if you don't know the person or not, respect is something.
Respect is very important. And this is just one.
Can we move on to other subjects?
Respect to the Indian culture.
Let's go to the doctor and talk about with regard to P. Diddy's case.
Yeah, I think P. Diddy actually. So this, as you mentioned as well, priorly. It has been happening for decades, right? But it started a decade ago, exactly a decade ago, and this was going on continuously. Through and through with celebrities involved. It was also involving his latest ex, that being obviously, Casey. So the thing here is the fact that the trial had so much of excruciatingly painful detail. It was so graphic in terms of what he did. Just to give a little bit of an analysis of what happened. He used to find
Be careful, this has to be
find this.
Also, this is all public information, and we have not gained any
Nothing,
sort of...
exactly.
This is all public information that we're discussing.
So he used to basically get, escorts, male escorts specifically, into the hotel room while he actually invites multiple celebrities as well that are very known in the industry that we know. We're talking about A-list stars. They come in, and as soon as they come in, they have to partake in, sexual activity. That is very gruesome, and that's not very human-like.
So this is by that their engagement in these activities are
all consensual.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. But it's all consensual. That was also a defense point when it came to P. Diddy. But the point is, all of these individuals, including the escorts, were all abused with narcotics. So they had no other choice to go for straight up 3 days to even 48 hours of the same act.
It's the same scenario like Harvey Weinstein. The Harvey Weinstein scenario is this is a repetitive of that. It's just that Harvey Weinstein was white and P. Diddy Combs is black. Harvey Weinstein also did this with a lot of actresses, forced them to engage in non-consensual sex, promising them lead roles in certain movies because he was a big
Sean, did he
mogul.
have that?
He didn't, but what he did was he recorded the entire activity, threatening them that he would actually expose this or leak this. So that is not...
One of the key questions in that particular case that people are trying to find out is underage escorts. Were there any underage individuals who were there in these parties? And if that is the case, then he's straight to jail. There are, I think, around 5 counts, 2 for prostitution, soliciting prostitution. The other one was sex trafficking. The sex trafficking part is where it is really concerning because where did he get these escorts from? Who are these escorts? Were they sex trafficked from other countries
They're looking at it, large
because
number.
of, he's a celebrity. He can. If you read the article on Variety, my God, that is like.
It was very gruesome, actually.
It's more pornographic. It is.
But the most recent hearing that we had at the case, the male escort, one who Diddy had paid, signed an NDA, has actually come out to say what has happened. So it was initially, the story goes this is how he was very tactful, He has actually invited this said male escort, assuming it to be a bachelorette party. So he has also come. He wasn't exactly an escort, he was a stripper to begin with. So he comes, and then P. Diddy was covered up with like a low hat, a white outfit, and a bandana, and is trying to,
hide himself.
But of course, his voice has given him away. The thing is, now this escort himself, he just says it. It's not like he didn't enjoy the activities. He consented to them. He was like, okay, I'm getting paid to do what one person would not be. It brings in pleasure, whatever. He's part of this big world that he now knows of.
And you get paid for it as well.
You get paid for it as well. The problem, the breaking point for him was the fact that one day Diddy had asked his then girlfriend to come to talk or whatever, just asked her to come. She had just said, hold on, I'm working on something, just give me a minute. P. Diddy had actually gotten pissed off, dragged her out.
Actually, no. So technically, if anyone, that's just one scenario, if anyone decides to leave the room while this entire activity takes place, he actually follows them and pulls them right back.
Exactly.
This was caught on camera.
On the 2013 case.
Yeah.
So even at this point, I'm talking from the male escort's perspective. So he has realized, okay, he's a bit antsy about this, asked, literally slapped her across the face.
Yeah.
And then there have been a lot of domestic violence cases. He was questioned. You knew this was going on. Why didn't you go and file a report? He legitimately said he feared for his life because Diddy is a man of power and he has so much influence back then in Hollywood and with everything going on. He was literally scared.
So what's the close relation between this male escort and then girlfriend?
There was no relation.
Even these male escorts, they're not repeated, by the way.
But this man was. This man was paid.
He was constantly called to... I think
could be the money
when he started. He said that these are in the trial documents, which started last Monday. He said when he started off, the first gig was around $60 to $100, and then it increased to around $6,000. So it was he was handsomely paid. But then again, the incidents that was occurring behind closed doors. But once again, all of those activities, the sexual, the weird sexual activities and the freaks, exactly. All those parties are not illegal in America. It is perfectly okay. But then again, there is this gray area of domestic abuse. But that is not what he is charged with. He is charged with sex trafficking, which is the biggest thing that they have to clear. Because if he did that, underage girls,
Because the thing is, from what we have heard so far, anything is possible at this.
Exactly.
I think we have ties with Justin Bieber.
And Justin Bieber, when the rumors actually spread, which he didn't actually, according to allegations, he was actually a teenager at the time, when he was actually a part of this whole thing. And this whole obsession about,
he spent
baby
48 hours with P. Diddy as part of a project.
That's how much it goes.
48
hours minimum, and then it goes up to 3 days. Later, even the escorts have to go through like an IV drip and so forth to recover from all of
it.
And
the messed up part, I think, of course, P. Diddy's defense is playing this to get the sympathy card and whatever. But P. Diddy's children are actually in court while everything is happening. And they walked out.
It takes so much strength for a male escort to step out and expose this. So which means that it has been a long journey.
Plus the ex-girlfriend is now, she's heavily pregnant. Her husband is also there. So this is like an emotional, legal mess that's unfolding.
It's quite sad.
So then there is this underlying why this case got a lot of attention is not big. I mean, of course, it's Sean P. Diddy Combs, one of the biggest rappers in the world. I think since
used to be
97.
You do not want to get sued.
No, I mean, like he was one of those, but then again,
for the last decade, he has been famous for something else.
Now there are three individuals connected with the same types of crimes. First one was Harvey Weinstein. He came out. He's now charged. He's in jail. Still, certain other court cases are going on. Second individual was Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this is the guy who is connected to the most powerful in America. We are not just talking about media, or we are not talking about any. This is from presidents to business moguls to everyone. And there is a link between Epstein and P. Diddy Combs. Now, why they're going after Combs mostly is to unravel whether, the real list and real information, especially the current incumbent President Donald Trump said, a lot of people, if by any chance, if this information comes out, a lot of people from presidents on the past presidents, Bill Clinton was, one of those individuals who visited this so-called Epstein Island. Those information can come out through this trial, and that could lead to another one, because Jeffrey Epstein is dead. So there is no way that people can actually find out information about it. So
there should be supporters, because one man alone doing this whole thing is not actually possible. You need.
But see, yes. So now this is why this is the typical mentality, the herd mentality. No sooner one cracks, the whole. Just like everybody wants to safeguard themselves. Because everybody engaged. Now, this happened somewhere around in 2012, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Nobody wanted to talk about it at that time. And now, everybody wants to be talking about it, because they want to clear their name. Most of them will be implicated in if by any chance, if there are sex trafficking reports on this, there might be other people who might see coming out from this whole saga. Anyway,
at least
it's interesting to watch.
It's good that this case drags and it actually comes to a stop.
But I think there is going to be another one that's going to come up.
This
is
too much at this point.
It is.
But then again, this is connected with a lot of celebrity deaths as well.
True.
I mean, from MJ to Left Eye.
I'm still alive.
Not you, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson.
But
Michael
one
Jackson,
curious question, I think you both would have some sort of answer for this. So if top-end celebrities were involved in this, what made them keep shut all this time?
Because he has video proof.
It's an intricate world woven in this web where one falls, everybody comes into play. So nobody wants to. It's basically a bunch of no-gooders. I mean, that is the only word that I can use on television.
I'm actually embracing myself to.
There are really good actors. There are really good actors. There are really good talent in Hollywood who is inspirational, who takes this entire, another side to this argument. They are the people who inspire new generations of people to come in, and then there are the other ones. Once they come up to that top point, then the mind gets abused. So power is always abusive. We've seen this. Forget about Hollywood. Look at our country.
Anything.
Any leader who gets the power, unconditional power,
from
right at the top.
From school children to getting higher posts, up to the high authorities, everything.
But whatever said and done, thank you, Beyonce.
Thank you.
Beyonce, we don't want to be cancelled. Did you not see what happened when celebrities don't thank Beyonce?
Not just Beyonce, it's also Taylor Swift. It's the same thing. Again, it's another subject.
This is another subject. We have to take a short commercial break. Once we return, there is a new movie that is going to come out next week, which we have to talk about. The first part of that particular movie came out in 2023. We had to wait for almost 1.5 years for the next one, and we are right at the cusp of the second version of it. And trust me, we have to celebrate this actor who has been an inspiration for a longer period of time.
I was in preschool when I first watched it.
Let's start. It'll be the new release of the week. So when we come back after the break, we will start with the new release, and then we'll start talking all about that particular movie. This is Showbiz Tonight. Stick around.
This can't all be true.
Every word.
CIA Black Vault break-in.
Am I reading this correctly? The Kremlin bombing?
In fairness, the bomb was actually meant to kill him.
He gassed a security briefing.
That was just 2 months ago.
This explains the handcuffs. It's still not clear why he's here.
If we want to bring the world back from the brink, we have to deal with him.
Should he choose to accept?
Smart people on every side are close to panicking.
What exactly is your plan? Your team has been betrayed, Ethan. All your secrets compromised.
Everything you are, everything you've done, has come to this.
You gave him an aircraft carrier?
Our lives are the sum of our choices. This is your calling, your destiny. I have no regrets. Neither should you.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
Welcome back to Showbiz Tonight. Now, yes, we are entering the interesting parts. Now we covered all the gossip in the past. Thank you, Sanuvi. Thank you, Aquil. I think now it's time for me and Mahieash to open our mouths. So, Mahieash, I think you are waiting to cover this topic. Mission Impossible.
We just showed you the trailer, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning. Do not worry. There is this buzz going all around the world saying that this is going to be the final Mission Impossible movie, and it's not. It is the final of two parts of this movie. The first one came in 2023. It's called Dead Reckoning.
Dead Reckoning, part 1.
Yeah, which is part 1. And this is the second part, which is concluding that story, because last night I watched
Dead Reckoning part 1.
Dead Reckoning, and trust me, such a relevant current movie, because have you watched it?
Have you watched it?
I do watch Mission Impossible movies.
No. Did you watch Dead Reckoning, the first one, the 2023 one?
Yes, I did. I actually went to the hall and watched it.
Okay. So
the
storyline on that is the storyline on that, and most of you who have watched knows, is that a sentient being, which is AI, which has evolved into a level where it cannot be controlled. Now we are in the age of AI, artificial intelligence, and we are talking a lot about that, and we are trying to utilize that into our. This is the doomsday scenario which we all talk about if AI takes over. There have been lots of movies about these things as well, but Dead Reckoning is that particular doomsday scenario in real time. Okay. So,
and you get that feeling this is not too far away.
Exactly. I think we are there, because what happens is, if you see the first movie, the part 1 movie, I'm not giving you spoilers here.
It's okay to spoil part 1. It's been 2 years.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fine.
So they created an AI model. The United States government created an AI model, and they wanted to utilize it to against their enemies as a war weapon. Now, slowly this AI model started taking a different approach. It started rewriting its code. it started giving itself, a different status. It's not being, now it is not adhering to the commands from the
same
government.
thing which happened to Ultron.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
also iRobot.
Okay, exactly. So Marvel, the same. So how we get to know about this is there is this Russian submarine that is the start of the movie, where this entire AI model goes and bases itself in this by the United States goes and somehow this submarine is not supposed to be visible to radar.
It's a wrecked one, right?
No, it is a usable one.
Okay.
That is covert operations. Russia uses it, but it is undetectable. That is the part where which is problematic to lots of governments. But here in this scenario, somehow the United States manages to infiltrate this. And then this submarine is revealed. People are killed. And then that entire submarine is nowhere to be found. Then this starts the conversation about this AI. This AI, so the United States government is really upset about this. All hell has broken loose. And now talking about this being who has evolved into a sentient being. Okay, so it's trying to rewrite. And the best part about that entire first episode, Dead Reckoning, nothing happens. This AI model, despite the fact that it has evolved into a sentient being, it has become a threat. It does not take any kind of, commands from any kind of government, comes into intelligence systems, takes information, and just goes away, does nothing.
And that freaks the
and
hell
that
out.
is the biggest scare for everyone. Why is it coming in, leaving certain digital footprints, and then going back without even disrupting anything? So they know that there is a catastrophic moment that's going to come, which is what we are going to witness by next week. Okay, the second part, the final reckoning, comes on the 23rd of May.
In case if y'all are not aware of what happened at the end, so to control this AI, you need two keys.
Yeah.
They had one half since the beginning, and at the end they find the second half.
Yeah.
But when they just found the second half, I was hovering through the time and the movie's over. Because no one of us knew that there is supposed to be a part 2 by then, like in the first.
It was.
The first initiating.
It was said. Okay. But why it came out saying Dead Reckoning part 1. So we knew that we are not going to get the answers to the story. The two keys is the way that you can reset the system back to its original code, which can be controlled by any.
No, but here's the thing: like watching it, you'd expect now Mission Impossible. If you go through all those movies, there is a very satisfying end at the very end.
Plus, it's not too far from the reality.
Exactly.
That's what I like.
But then this time, this movie, it's like, oh my God, okay, they're gonna get the keys. It's fun because halfway through, Mahieash, when you're like watching it, you feel like, okay, part 1 is gonna have its own ending. That's usually what happens. Yeah, you have your prequel, then you have a sequel. There's an ending to it. But then the fact that nothing actually happened the way you mentioned it, it's such a build up because when it comes to everything that Ethan Hunt does. You have that oomph, you have the final.
And let's talk about Ethan Hunt. Have you ever watched a single Mission Impossible movie?
You have.
Aquil, what's IMF? What's IMF?
Yeah, exactly. What's IMF?
International Monetary Fund?
No, I have not watched. I watched it like when I was like 8 or something. But that's it.
Anyway.
The first movie would be.
No.
Okay. I don't think you watched the movie. You would have watched that clips on YouTube where he comes and drops into. That is one of the first.
And one.
Do you? Okay, you guys. What I think you guys do not know is prior to Mission Impossible becoming a Tom Cruise production and a movie, it was a television series.
Oh.
It was a TV series, one of the television series I loved. There were only 2 television series during my small days that I actually loved. One was X-Files and the other one was Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible, I can't remember who the actors were, the idea is they send these guys in the IMF stands for Impossible Mission Force.
All right, okay.
So it ain't the IMF as the International Monetary Fund. But I sincerely hope if the International Monetary Fund can take a cue from the Impossible Mission Force and do something impossible that would help countries like ours, then the IMF would make sense.
They could be called either International Monetary Fund or the Impossible Mission Force.
But so
more
it
like
was
Impossible Mission Fund.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where you can't actually get any kind of money. Okay, you try getting money, you can't get money. Why? We are the IMF. Why? Impossible Mission Fund. Okay, anyway, that is very much what's happening with regard to the International Monetary Fund as a political debate, which I don't want to get into.
The face peeling off thing was less in Dead Reckoning Part 1.
No. It is the hallmark of Mission Impossible television series. It is always going as a disguise to these locations where you can't get in, and they somehow get through, and the peeling off is the satisfaction.
And it was always this mystery how they make it in Mission Impossible 5. I think they revealed that small briefcase where they that was
the Dubai story, right?
Where they
the Dubai
the small
actually not gonna lie, myself and TV Derana producers were talking. We wanted to do that scene for the opener of the previous election. That entire thing. I had a storyline for that entire whole episode where they come in and we even had an actor ready and set to go. The only thing is we didn't have enough time to put the graphics in and sort it out, so we had to go with something else.
Also, just a fun fact, the TV series that Mahieash is referring to, it actually aired in 1966.
You see that Mahieash is old though.
No.
We are too young.
No. Okay. Television was invented in Sri Lanka in 1982. Okay. So I was born in 1984. Okay. So no. Just because now it happens, it airs in the United States. You get it the next day here in Sri Lanka. But those days, no. Like years and years. I still remember I was watching. I think it was like the 68th or the 69th Oscars, okay?
69.
So on one of the television...
it's 96 now.
Anyway. Okay. Yeah. No. So I was watching, I can't remember which one was it, but I was watching on one of these local television channels which was broadcasting it. And then for some reason I had an article and the Oscars happened like almost a year ago. So I was watching some old award ceremony at that time, and that was how television was. We don't get the new stuff here. We get something. Oshin was one of those.
Oh yeah, I loved Oshin. That keeps going on. I did.
No, that was a donation. But do you understand that Oshin? We didn't get the latest one. It was actually a gift from the government of Japan to the Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporation. And that also came like if the real season, like it wasn't a season, it was like a constant, endless amount of episodes. I really can't remember what the storyline was. All I remember is those unwalkable shoes. You remember those, right?
I only remember everyone was the same.
It was a period drama.
Exactly. Yeah. And the rice balls.
Yeah, the sticky rice.
And what was the other thing?
And
it's always cold. It was always cold.
I think it was more satisfying and fascinating to us that it's not the fact that Sri Lanka was backdated when it comes to TV series, but the fact that Aquil watched Oshin.
Did you watch it in Sri Lanka like TV Corporation or where?
No. It was.
You watch it on TV?
No, it's on YouTube.
You watch it on YouTube?
That makes sense.
Like recently?
It is, yeah.
But imagine someone like Aquil spending time watching on YouTube.
This is the type of people who gets a doctorate.
So Mahieash, Mahesh,
this is the
best part. Not a single movie of Mission Impossible.
No. Okay, and he comes to Showbiz Tonight, the show that I basically talks about movies.
What are boys over?
No, now it makes sense what the cultural innovation stands for.
Okay, could be a thesis kind of situation where, okay, go watch a period drama and come back and tell us, how it was relevant. That kind of thing. In case you do not know and you are tuning in and what we are talking about, apparently Mr. Aquil,
Dr. Aquil Kuraishy.
No longer Mr. Aquil Kuraishy. He's a Dr. Aquil Kuraishy. If you have like aches and pains, that is not the doctor that you need to
recommendations
see.
of Japanese period drama.
But if you need period drama advice, like Oshin,
not Hollywood.
Anyway, we were talking about Ethan. We were talking about Ethan. I want to finish that thought process. Now, CG, computer generated movies are very much common with the Marvel universe and DC comics and everything. It's so frequent, and we are this thing. But you have to give it to Tom Cruise. This man is a legend not because of anything else. It's because of all those CG stunts that you see is done by
There's no stunt double.
There's no stunt double.
There's not single.
There's no
He did all by himself. Yeah.
He breaks bones, legs, jumps off from
We are talking
cliffs.
about a man who's past his 50s.
So Dead Reckoning, in that if the episode where he goes up the hill and jumps, that please watch the behind the scenes.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, so this guy really jumps, and the director is on pins. Why is the parachute not opening? Why is the parachute not opening? Okay,
because
they were
the whole
supposed
franchise is dead.
Exactly. If he dies,
The franchise is in his hands. Right?
Exactly. And he keeps putting himself in these scenarios, and he insists he does it. There's this beautiful interview which one of the other actors, I can't remember the name of the actor, he did it with Jimmy Fallon in one of the talk shows. He said, okay, so he was like, he's friends with Tom Cruise, and he was like, asking Tom Cruise, it seems, Tom Cruise, how come you do all these kinds of, stunts, if we go into a set, they don't allow us to do these kinds of things. So I was like, how do you do this? How do you do this? And so he tells him, so here's one. I asked my stunt guy, the stunt coordinator,
Okay.
can I do that? He says, that's impossible. So I get a new stunt coordinator. So that's how he does it. If somebody tells Tom Cruise you can't do it, that's exactly what he's going to do. And all those shots that he's been where he jumps off from buildings, goes in parachutes, that scenario where he's holding on to the plane while the plane goes on, that is not on Dead Reckoning, but in one of the
previous
other movies. It was all him. There was nothing, CG about it. They just increased the color tones and, made it look like as if,
I literally, this man, Tom Cruise, the first movie I watched, Mission Impossible 1, and then I watched Top Gun. Since then, I don't know, there's this whole, he's such like an idol role model type of actor.
Yes, he's also very nice to his crew as well. I think during COVID.
Off air, on air, the personality is very constant.
Production was held up.
And this is another good example of those actors which we talked about, who were celebrating and providing positivity towards a lot of generation. Now, Vinuth, if Vinuth was watching it when he was a kid, and he keeps on looking at this individual as an idol, it is very, very, hopeful, because during, I think, early 2000, when he was with Katie Holmes, the first relationship that was, a celebrity relationship, big issue. Then the Scientology church issue came in. He never stopped. He didn't care about that. He has a child with Katie Holmes, and again last night I watched another television series called Poker Face, which is on season 2 this time around. That is also a really nice Yeah, it's interesting. In that one of the episode, as a guest appearance, Katie Holmes was there, and the contrast. Okay, Katie Holmes left Tom Cruise because saying that I don't want to do this Scientology thing, and accused him of a lot of things. And the contrast of the success he had since then and the success that she's having is basically like the sun and the stars, because it is billions of miles.
I remember when I was 14.
And he does it by himself. I don't think, I'm not sure whether is he married now or...
I think...
He's not. He is married, actually.
To who?
I think because he was also entangled with
Google
Nicole
that
Kidman as well.
Nicole Kidman.
That was Eyes Wide Shut. That was way.
That was way before.
Yeah.
I don't think he's married.
He's not.
Katie Holmes and then Nicole Kidman and then Mimi Rogers.
He's 62 years of age.
Okay.
That's
it. I don't think he's married.
Currently, no.
Nope.
No, he's all alone by himself.
62 years of age.
And there's one more thing. He watches one single movie every day. Every day.
Habit.
Wow.
It's a habit. He watches every single movie in the world. Do you know The Samurai? Do you know that it was Tom Cruise was there in The Samurai?
He was?
He was. It's one of the Japanese movie. It was not, successful. He was also in The Mummy. Okay, a different version. They wanted to bring a different franchise of The Mummy. Brendan Fraser, that whole franchise, which is another one that I really love. But that also didn't become successful. But Mission Impossible, I think next week, 23rd, make sure you go watch it. Apparently there was a early screening on Wednesday here in Sri Lanka.
But it's sold out.
It's sold out. So yeah, couldn't get tickets.
In Sri Lanka,
if not, I would have watched that. Then I would have come on.
You are kind of a special human being.
And spoil it to everybody.
Exactly. You would not be able to speak about it. But here's the thing: as long as Mission Impossible doesn't end the way Daniel Craig's James Bond ended, I'll be fine, because that gave
Daniel Craig started hating James Bond. Yeah. Okay, but he didn't want to do that. Look, because he didn't want to be that action only star. He started hating that role.
Because
but
I think his best character resonated in Knives Out. That's his character.
But then again, talk about the range. Was it Queer, right? The one that came out last year.
Yes.
He's playing.
No, last year, this year. Beginning of this year. No, last year, beginning of this year, Jan and Feb, I think is.
Could be. So the range, he wanted to go into those,
But that's good. But as a viewer, as a fan of James Bond, the way it ended was like all this.
See, that's true, right?
P.S. Brosnan is the real.
He's fine, but still.
But as an actor, you need to sort of explore other ranges of roles as well.
Bond movies.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, we have a lot more to talk about. We need to take a short commercial break, and when we return, Final Destination, is that what
is it actually the final destination?
I hope so.
It is not the final destination for us, but we will be, having the countdown later on. But apparently, the new movie Final Destination is also going to come up right after this break. Vinuth will take the lead on that. This is Showbiz Tonight. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Showbiz Tonight. Up next is a discussion on one of the movie franchises that I personally do not like at all. Final
Same.
Destination.
That's not surprising.
It's because I am a horror
Okay,
fan.
wait, I got a question. So,
No.
Aquil,
No.
how many Final Destination movies have you watched?
Honestly, what is he doing here?
Exactly.
The first movie we talked about,
Which is one of the most famous franchises
yeah, exactly.
in the
Mission
world.
Impossible, no idea. Final Destination, another franchise,
I watched Harry
no
Potter.
idea. Did you watch Thunderbolts, which we are also going to talk about later on?
I watched the trailer.
Everyone has watched
Oh
the
yeah,
trailer. My little sister did.
guess what he has watched.
Oshin.
He has no. Yeah, exactly. Oshin. He's watched Oshin and P Diddy's trial,
Oh no.
You know.
and he's the doctor. Okay.
Cultural innovation.
Excellent. Anyways, we need
All
to
right,
start
so
off.
Final Destination. So, just like Sanuvi told, it's not something that's very favoring to your eyes. It's graphic. So, just to give, we haven't had a Final Destination movie in a while. So, just giving what happens is basically, according to this story, death has a plan. It has a time, it has a venue, and if this plan is altered by any cause, then death will follow, but in a bit of a dramatic and intense manner, right? So, for the first 5 movies, there have been different incidents. I think the first one was in a plane, second one was in a bridge, third one was in a car track.
Oh, God.
And so the storyline has been the same. It has been the same theory, but where they made the small differences was the plot twist and the way they die, which is the scary one. But in Bloodlines, it's kind of different.
The 2025 one.
Yeah,
Here's
which
the
is
thing,
going to
so
come, which actually came yesterday.
Yes.
Which came yesterday, actually.
So this Final Destination, how traumatic Final Destination have made us, especially seeing logs on the road, we are traumatized. This movie will define how this generation will be facing that exact same trauma.
The name has it, Bloodlines, right? So what happens here is it has a prequel part and a sequel part. So there's this one person who saved a bunch of people from death, and she's actually fine now. She wasn't haunted, but now her bloodline, the next generation and the generation after that, is starting to get these dramatic deaths. So I think we showed the trailer in one of the previous Showbiz editions, and it was scary. I gave a warning. So do you think it's going to be the end?
I hope
I actually did a research on actually this is going to be the end, but it never stated.
I don't think so.
I hope so.
I also hope so because
it is not. I mean, it is not one of those. It's a what? One hit wonder.
Yeah. It's a movie like you'll be dared to watch on like a random Friday night.
Okay, if you avoid deaths, that's the whole warning now from the first movie onwards. From the first movie onwards, I think it came out in somewhere in 2000 or 2001 or something. From the first movie onwards, death has a plan.
Death has a plan.
So you owe it to death. If you evade death, you will be, sought after by death in a various way, and then they show you all the ways, intricate ways that death gets you. So death anyway gets its
And it has
share.
another interesting theory, right?
And if by any chance, if you want to talk about
Oshin?
the only person, that's a different story. The only person who evaded death was also on the countdown, King of Kings, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. No, but that is a belief. But this is a movie, so no. I think if they can put this to rest, it shows that Hollywood is running out of ideas, and they're just coming up recycling.
Because the Final
things
Destination
over and
actually
over
had a
and
good
over.
base. The theory was
It did.
Yeah.
So now
they could have actually
I watched
developed on it.
I watched the first, second, third. Or the first one was Ryan Philippe.
The plane crash.
The plane crash. That I think so. Anything involving planes, love it.
2000.
Okay, so that's where my is saying it. So all that started happening, but then again, the third movie started looking. It's like the same storyline, same thing.
The plot
then
is
fourth is also the same now.
And you have other movies.
Yeah,
like
you
that
know,
as well. And Netflix
you know
has one
who's
as
gonna
well.
die, but the only thing is, because they had this nice part where we think, okay, he's gonna fall to that nail and die, but no, that's not gonna happen. He's gonna die in
To
different
me,
way.
both Final Destination and Supernatural.
You mean Manifest?
No. The movie where it's similar to Final Destination.
There's so many movies and TV series
Let me finish. The one with the found footage. It is not Supernatural.
It's not Supernatural.
Paranormal. No. There's one line of movies that is quite similar. It's the same thing that happens. And most importantly, Sri Lankan hospitals, please don't play Final Destination in your lobbies. I was traumatized as a kid. That's why I hate the Final Destination.
Which hospital was that?
It was a hospital which I went for because I was having
I mean, just imagine you go to that hospital in an ambulance and you go.
It's what exactly happened to me.
Final Destination. It's like the horrible place to.
That's what I saw. I went in for an appointment.
Are you sure you went to a hospital?
I went to a hospital. I was having a fever. I went in to get the
So
checkup.
they were telling you're coming in, but you
Death has a plan. Death has a plan. Don't alter it. It will be bad.
Imagine a 30-year-old
Anyway.
Sanuvi getting traumatized.
You're happy with it?
I mean,
Can we take a break and let's
actually
go to
can. So-
Thunderbolts, please?
Okay, we are. I'm excited just like you. So let's go for
So
it.
let's take a short commercial break. When we return, Thunderbolts, we're going to talk about that. That was released as well. Latest franchise of the Marvel movie. Showbiz Tonight. We'll be right back. Welcome back everyone to Showbiz Tonight. Once again, one of the movies that came out last week from the Marvel universe, giving us a little bit clues about Phase 6 and what's going to happen in Secret Wars and Doomsday is Thunderbolts. But apparently it's not Thunderbolts, it's the new Avengers.
Oh no.
Okay, so let's start with Vinuth. You watched the movie, right?
I watched the movie on premiere. I watched it on the first day, and here I go. I'm watching it. The start, first 20 minutes. Wait, I'm sorry. Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Sorry. So
Don't worry, he hasn't watched it.
you won't watch it anyway. Sanuvi, I'm sorry. I know you're such a Marvel fan, but yeah.
No. We will come to Sanuvi, but finish your point.
So I'm watching it. First 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is good. And there's this scene, again spoiler, where Bucky in action. So good. And then it sidetracks to this, because I have to say, I'm a fan of Marvel movies, but I'm not a fan of Marvel comics. I'm not much familiar with the Marvel comics. So I didn't know whether this was actually a part of comics or not, but there's this whole... It is, okay. There's the new part coming in, and I am like, what the hell just happened? Because I was trying to recover from the bruises of Brave New World. I was like, fine, Phase 6, here I come. And then it actually starts fine. It hits the top point. I'm like, wow. And then I leave the hall with so much disappointment. I think this was more than the Brave New World, because I gave it up. Like, I was like, fine. Because I came with a lot of expectations for Phase 6.
I'm dying to talk. Go on.
I came with so much expectations for Phase 6, and I'm like, why? Why? And I can speak more.
So, Sanuvi, why, Sanuvi?
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, so here's the thing. To begin with,
You didn't watch it yet?
I watched it.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, this movie, it was put out to say that it was, along with a nod to the Marvel comics, it was also heavily relying on mental health issues and all of that. That was the beginning of Void and all of that. And I think you were confused about the part where Ghost came in, and then you had like all of those new characters which we haven't heard of in the MCU. But they have been portraying a prominent part in the comics, like people like Ghost. But then there was a critic because especially the character Ghost used to be male in the comics, and she could not technically be overpowered by anyone except Deadpool. So there was a bit of an issue there. But for you sole MCU fans...
Ghost is fine, it's just...
Bob is just...
Wait. So you all finish your point.
No, so okay.
I'll sort this out
this
for
is
you
the
all
verdict.
completely.
He's the judge. But like the point of Bob, did you know that the actor who played Bob actually fought to change the name Bob? He actually fought with the directors to be
Bob
like,
is
I
in
don't
comics.
want... No. So the character.
Bob is in the comics.
He's there.
You can't
But
say the name.
no. So he was like, I can't be called Bob. You know, he wanted that change. But for me, Thunderbolts, yes, it's not up to this. It's not up to the standard.
Who's Thunderbolts?
What is a Thunderbolt? Is this something referring to a car? Okay. Is this a thunderbolt means like, did it drop off from a car or what is this?
No, but
Lightning. Okay.
Aquil.
Yeah.
No, okay, maybe it's not as. See, we grew up with the Avengers. We are always going to resonate with Iron Man, with Cap, and especially with Bucky. I understand it's not exactly there, but I feel like it's a positive move towards what we loved Marvel for, and also it's fun when people say vodka.
Okay, so let me sort this out for you, little kids.
And my junior sort this out too. Every Marvel movie, one thing I love the franchise is it connects the dots at the end or in the middle.
And let me also connect the dots for you.
Why not this?
We have to go back. There was a beautiful step-by-step phase of Phase 6 for Marvel, okay? But it got derailed. Why? Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
He's the problem.
Kang the Conqueror.
The Kang the Conqueror was the end result of the whole Phase 6 entire saga. It started with Ant-Man. He was there in Ant-Man. Then he was there in Loki. Loki also had a part to play. If you had to watch both the television series and it. And Thunderbolts was never a movie. It was never slated to be a movie. It was actually slated to be a television series, just like Loki. But here, what happens was Jonathan Majors got into this entire, real-world fight and argument, and then, Marvel had to fire him. And firing him, they did not, I don't know why they did not want to replace him with another actor, but they chose, okay, we're going to get rid of this entire storyline of Kang the Conqueror. Because the Council of Kangs is what we saw at the end of Ant-Man. Yeah, exactly. So we saw a lot of people who looks like the same guy. That is, Kang, who came, an Egyptian version, this and that and all that. So the storyline was supposed to continue that Jonathan Majors, which is Kang the Conqueror, is going to be the biggest threat, equaling even beyond Thanos. Now, that couldn't be reached because apparently,
And Marvel doesn't have a culture of replacing actors.
Because if not, they could have replaced Black Panther as well, which they didn't do. So, scrap the idea. Now they are actually scrambling, and this is the scrambling part which we see from Captain America,
Brave New World too.
The Brave New World, where suddenly Adamantium came in. Eternals are back, okay, and then now the second version is Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was also not the case. It was also a struggle to get back into a different. Do you know that Robert Downey Jr. would have never been recast in the entire franchise again if not for the Jonathan Major hiccup. They couldn't bring anybody else in order to play Doctor Doom. One Doom. So
you think if Jonathan Majors was out,
we are completely looking at Kang the Conqueror kind of this, and then the storyline would have been beautifully dotted towards that.
But does that mean that there won't be a season 3 for Loki? Because Kang the Conqueror was one of their plot points.
Season 3 currently it is in Kevin Feige. It's not confirmed. Kevin Feige is considering it, but see, if by any chance if they hit a wall, okay. So now y'all talking about Bob.
Sentry.
Why?
Why Bob?
Why was Bob brought in?
Because Bob.
They need a bigger threat.
They need a new
For
villain.
Secret New Wars, they need a bigger threat.
God.
Centric in the comics is the most, undestructible.
Just like you saw in the movie, they gave us a small sneak peek, right?
Undestructible force of one of the bad guys that there could exist in this universe. Now the question comes, okay, One Doom, Fantastic Four is the next one, which is coming out in July. Now Fantastic Four is going to introduce us into, one of the, Dr. Doom is a relative, lineage to Richard Reeves, who is Mr. Fantastic. So, is One Doom a villain, or is One Doom the savior? Or Bob is the villain, or
the savior?
So they
the savior.
say that the Fantastic Four, the final ship, while in the post-credits scene, that was not the Fantastic Four from the existing Earth's universe.
No.
Timeline.
Why? We already went there. We went there in Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange.
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse Madness. In that movie, we went into that universe. We went into that universe and we destroyed there. That is in the future. Okay, so now these guys are coming into our universe.
Which is mean they're coming back to the past, is it?
This movie is happening in the past. Multiverse of Madness happened, it has no time, continuum that doesn't exist in that universe, so they just goes into that. For me, Thunderbolts, yes, Vinuth, it was a letdown.
Disappointment.
Please tell me there's a but.
But
are we going to give them another chance?
It is actually hopeful to see that they are getting back on track.
Yes, there you are.
Okay, because come to think about it, it wasn't that bad because they were going with I told you they will go with the Deadpool's comic style. Who's this? Santa Claus? Who's this old Santa? That's the line.
The red dude. Old Santa.
How come you guys don't remember after watching
Claus.
it? That was one of the lines when he comes into the room. Who's this old Santa?
Yes.
The Russian Avenger.
Yeah, exactly.
You want his name?
No. I didn't want his name.
The line.
The line. The comical style of it is very close to Deadpool. Okay, so they were going in that particular direction in order to make it very interesting.
Who is this
but
Santa?
Box office wise, not a good one. In comparison to Deadpool, by now it should have, crossed more than 400 million to 500 million. Half a billion should have been the income generated, but right now it's somewhere standing around, I think around in 250 or something.
Yeah, with that I think Universal is building up to see where it has ended up in the box office this week.
That is true, but I feel like the Marvelness is a bit back, with Sentry's design, how he was portrayed. And did you notice, literally, when Sentry appears in its full form, he's literally just the void. Everything is 2D. Whatever happens is just black and two eyes.
Exactly. That was the part where I was confused.
Why were you confused?
Why is it 2D?
Because it's emptiness. It's
exactly. It is the void. This is why, man.
DC replaces actors.
Okay, right. I think we need to go for a short commercial break.
DC can't even find its mouth from its behind. Okay,
no.
Where does that a pipe begins and the end of that pipe ends?
Get the point.
They can't even find that out.
You really thought bringing DC into this conversation was a good move?
They had to bring a successful. They had to bring a successful director from the Marvel universe, from the Guardians of Galaxy, in order to fix their shitty franchise.
It will happen one day. Okay, but
it'll
it's still
happen.
a good one. We replace actors.
Superman, the one that is supposed to come. I'm honestly rooting for it.
Yeah,
I'm honestly rooting for it. For it to be, it'll have the Marvel feeling for sure.
James Gunn.
Okay, because it's James Gunn. But for DC as a company, come on. If you are a fan of DC, I know a lot of people will come at me on this, but you're a sad person.
It's so dark.
What?
Especially if you're bringing DC into the table when we're talking about Marvel.
DC, thus far, there are only movies that I will actually fall down and say, is the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. Okay, the original trilogy.
Yeah.
You still can go and watch it and
And you will
still
enjoy
be,
it, yeah.
you know, inspired about it. The rest is utter.
I feel the
crap.
same would happen. James Gunn would do like 3 to 5 solid movies and then he'll leave and DC will go back to their own track. And he's
Anyway,
nodding
But
his
let's
head.
see. But let's see.
Yeah.
Still, it's good. Okay, they always add the element of
Marvel good,
darkness and it's
DC sucks. Yeah,
All right.
we all agree. All agree. Okay,
We
okay.
have the countdown to cover.
Anyway, well, yeah, exactly. We have to get to the countdown. Thank you very much. That ends our conversation portion where we have been back and forth trying to figure out what is happening in the world of movies. There will be lots of updates next week as well. We will be talking about the final reckoning for sure next week. So hopefully wait for that. Or wait, we usually record on Wednesday, so I don't think we might be able to talk about it next week.
We'll try to
the week
contact someone who watched the early screening.
Oh yes. And get
or
through.
sneak into the hall. Anyway, let's take a short break, and when we return, the rest of the countdown from 5 to number 1. Who took the number 1 place? Can Thunderbolts keep themselves at the top, or somebody took away their thunder?
Oh wow.
Why?
You found the answer to your what is a Thunderbolt?
Shazam maybe.
Is this in an engine or is this in the gearbox? Google search for queer. As a DC fan, this is what happens. Anyway, let's take a short break. You're watching Showbiz Tonight. We'll be right back.
Welcome back everyone to Showbiz Tonight. We're going to go through the top 5 movies on Showbiz this week. At number 5, another new entrant, Clown in a Cornfield. No, don't worry, it's not a biographical movie about myself or Vinuth, but this movie is a slasher horror movie that talks a lot about clowns for some reason. Now this storyline is fading in a fading mid-western town in which Frendo, the clown, a symbol of bygone success, re-emerges as a terrifying scourge. Wait, hang on, let me reiterate, this is not a biographical movie about my life or Vinuth's. Anyhow, if you definitely want to feel not alone in the night, this is a movie that you gotta pop in and definitely take a watch. With that, of course, this is a $39 million grossing in the box office since its release last week. Once again, this is Clown in a Cornfield, which is the number 5th movie on Showbiz Tonight.
Well, I actually hold a degree in finance and technically also work in finance, but if I was told there was a movie about an accountant, I myself will obviously think that it's going to be a boring movie about how, we balance sheets and make sure that the P&L numbers are right. But contrary to popular belief, that's not the case with our number 4, our 4th box office movie, a sequel titled The Accountant 2, starring the one, the only Ben Affleck. This is a story about Christian Wolf, who is the accountant, played by Affleck, applies his brilliant mind and illegal methods to reconstruct the unsolved puzzle of a treasury chief's murder. I mean, it sounds like it's right up my alley, but when it comes to numbers and actions, I'm always the go-to. With a global box office of $83 million, honestly a bit low for a Ben Affleck movie, but then again, he has done much worse. The Accountant 2 is our number 4th box office movie on Showbiz Tonight.
Do you have a dog?
I'm getting a dog.
Look at this. Yeah. That's Greg. Unconvincing.
What do you mean unconvincing? That's Greg. I'm getting this dog.
No, you like the idea of a dog.
Anybody who has a dog likes the idea.
Okay, to the top 3 now. The global mega success of Jack Black's Minecraft movie continued its winning streak this time around. as the movie continues to remain at number 3 this week as well. Now, the movie's success remains on the nostalgia of the game, and it's really awesome portrayal of the movie on the silk screen. Now, fans love it, which shows at the box office obviously, and since its release 6 weeks ago, the Minecraft movie has managed to gain a global box office of almost $1 billion and becomes our number 3rd box office movie on Showbiz Tonight.
You can create!
So they built all this?
Yeah, most of it.
Hold on.
That thing doesn't understand a word you're saying.
We're talking.
Life here was perfect. Until one day, Flint and Steel, we came across the net.
Tell me guys, when you mix horror with music, what do you get? Well, a horror musical. Weird. That's the impression of Rachel Zingler. Well, with that, this time, they don't actually scream in horror because they sing in this particular horror field. Well, this is exactly what our number 2 box office movie did, which is Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan. Sinners is a story about twins trying to leave their troubled lives behind and returns to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. With a global box office of $284 million since its release in 4 weeks ago, the Sinners, who were at number 1 for a couple of weeks, dropped tonight to number 2 on Showbiz Tonight.
I'm scared. You scared?
Nah, it's just that you somebody else's.
Alright, one movie to go, and guess who's at the top? Drum roll please. It's none other than Thunderbolts, aka the new Avengers. Well, since we talked a lot about this, we are not going to waste more time in introducing this movie to you. You know very well about it. Instead, let's enjoy a good clip from Thunderbolts, the supposedly world's mightiest heroes 2.0. So the box office of $272 million worldwide, which is quite low, like I told earlier on. Trust me, for a Marvel movie, this is sad. By this time, I think it should at least cross $500,000 in the box office. Thinking what I know very well, that Mission Impossible coming on to the scene next week, Thunderbolts will be our number 1 box office movie for the last week on Showbiz Tonight this week.
Stay out of my way.